Hey friends, so sorry for the funky lighting, but it's late. I just got back from a spa weekend getaway to Excelsior Springs, Missouri, which was gifted to me for my birthday, and let me just tell you, it was freaking fantastic. So if you ever have the opportunity, or if you've ever had the opportunity to go to the Elms in Excelsior Springs, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. If you get a massage, ask for Cindy. She's fabulous. It was such a beautiful weekend of fall weather, which was such a nice surprise. Wasn't really expecting that because it had been almost 90 degrees this past week. Actually, it had been over 90. It was very hot this past week. And then to have such beautiful fallish weather for this trip was just fabulous. So just getting back from that and not really, hey, I'm finding money in my chair. That's cool. Not really, it didn't really have a topic picked for this week to talk about, but I just wanted to share, I have an event coming up that I'm doing this week, that I'm helping to co-hosting and organizing. It's called Weed Day, and I wanted to just kind of share the story of Weed Day with you guys in case you were curious, or if you'd heard me talking about dried weeds and wildflowers, or if you ever, if you know me, you know that that's something that I do, something that I'm interested in. And so the story, how it all got started, was back when I was a kid. I used to go to Weed Day with my grandma. So this was like the one thing that my grandma and I did that was just the two of us. I don't remember ever really doing much with grandma other than maybe staying with her, once in a while, staying at her house. That was just the two of us. And so this was something that we did together, and it was an annual event held on a neighbor's farm, and it had started back in the 1950s. Two ladies who were master gardeners, they were farm wives. They got together and they decided, hey, we have all these beautiful weeds and flowers and plants and things growing around us. I mean, they were on the farm, so prevalent. Let's get together, like dry things throughout the year, preserve things throughout the year, and then get together and craft with them, make things, make arrangements, make wreaths, make signs, any of that kind of stuff. So they did that starting in the 1950s, and they continued it until 1997. I think 96 might have been the last year. I'm not sure if it actually happened in 1997, because tragically one of the founders, one of the ladies, she passed away unexpectedly in a car accident. And so that was kind of the end of it. I think, they tried to have it a few more years, but things just weren't the same. And it used to be hosted back and forth between the two founders' farms. So one year it would be at one farm, and the other year it would be at the next, the other farm. And so I don't think it ever was the same after that, after that tragedy. And, it just didn't bounce back after that, and as to be expected. And so it was about 20 years. It was gosh, I say that now, I'm like, it was almost 30 years. Wow. So in 2020, actually, during the pandemic, I don't know, I was feeling nostalgic or something, and I kept thinking about Weed Day and how I used to go with my grandma and craft using dried materials and things. And during the pandemic, I actually spent a lot of time at my family farm. And I've had a passion for gathering bouquets, making floral arrangements and that kind of thing for a long time. And I never really put the two together, but then I realized, oh yeah, I used to do this with my grandma. Like, this was something we used to do every year, was go collect stuff and then go to Weed Day and craft with it, create arrangements, bouquets, and things like that. And so I've been doing that for years, and during the pandemic, I was, out on the farm, spending a lot of time out in nature, getting fresh air, because, so many places were on lockdown, and fortunately we had 100 acres to roam out there, so that was kind of nice. So I spent a lot of time out there, collecting weeds and flowers and making arrangements and bouquets and just spending time in nature. And I was thinking to myself, how nice would it be to bring back this event that used to mean so much to me and so much to the community, because this was a this was an event that happened for almost 50 years, and it was big. Like, it used to draw over 150 people from all over, multiple states. People would come in from all over for this event by the end of it. And so it was just it was a well-loved, well-attended event. And so I was thinking about how, isolation and things kind of make you think about bringing people together and community and coming into connection and community with like-minded people. And so during all the isolation of the pandemic, I was thinking, how nice would it be to get people together on the farm where you're out in the fresh air? So even if there's a pandemic going on, we could still be, together, but just, spaced apart a little bit. We've got tons of fresh air, tons of acreage, tons of land. We could make this happen. And so I kept thinking about it. It kept coming up for me. And then I was out on a walk. I took a lot of walks during the pandemic. So I was out on a walk just on our gravel road out by the farm, and happened to run into, they were literally driving by one of the founders' daughters. And they were just driving by. So we stopped and chatted. We're neighbors. We've known each other for years. And so I was like, hey, how's it going? And then I asked them if they would be interested in bringing Weed Day back to life. And they were like, sure, go ahead. Why not? Let's see if anybody's interested. And so, and then by chance, the other founder's daughter is she actually owns and comes to stay at the family farm once in a while. And so she's on the neighboring farm to my parents. And so I happened to run into her one time, and I was like, hey, would you be at all interested in helping me bring Weed Day back? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we did. In 2020, we started and had Weed Day again for the first time in 25, almost 30 years. Long time. So anyway, we had the first Weed Day, and I think we only had like 7 or 8 people attend, but that's okay because it was one last minute. I think we started planning in like August, and we had it in, mid-September. And then might have started in July. Either way, it was very kind of last minute. It was just kind of like, show up, come if you can. We'd love to have you. And we tried to keep it small too because of the pandemic. So we wanted to make sure we had, 6 feet of space between everybody, et cetera, et cetera. Then enter 2021, we had triple the amount of people. We had almost 25 people in attendance, which is pretty darn good if you think about it. We're just advertising by word of mouth and on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Weeds and Wildflowers, and we host the event, we advertise, if you'll call it, the event there every year. But that's it, word of mouth and that's it. We don't do any kind of, other advertising other than we posted in the paper a couple of times, the local newspaper, just to inform people about what it is. And it grew a lot, and that's really exciting. So that event is coming up again this next weekend on October 1st. And so I'm very excited. My mind is back to it. I had to kind of take a little hiatus because of Junk Junction and this trip that I took this weekend. And so now I'm back to it, full prep mode. I've been prepping all summer. I pretty much prep year round for this. I'll start picking things during the winter when things are dried and the bugs have hatched and everything. And then I can, in the springtime, you can get certain things, and, then you can start drying things throughout the year. But like, it's October 1st this year, and so I had a little bit more time, which was nice. But come late August, September, hardcore prep time. Lots of picking grasses and drying things and hanging things up in the machine shed to dry. It's a really cool event, actually, and I'm grateful to my parents for sharing the farm with me so I can, pick things and prep things and dry things and all of that. So it's lovely. But yeah, that's coming up on Saturday, October 1st. I'm super stoked. Can't wait. It's so much fun because it brings people back together, some of which I haven't seen since last year on Weed Day. And so it's been a year since I've seen them. And, it's family, friends, neighbors, community, people that I grew up knowing that I haven't seen since I was a kid, We have people I know from at least 5 states attending this year, so that's really exciting. Yeah, so it's a big thing. Like it's so exciting to have it back. It's so exciting to have it happening again, creating more memories and, carrying the legacy forward of the founders who started this thing so long ago. It's such a beautiful legacy and such a beautiful history, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. That's all there is to it. But that's it. I just wanted to share that story with you guys, just to tell you, like, really, I guess the point is, if you're interested in something, it doesn't matter how random or silly or out there it might be, there's something in it for you. If you're interested in it, if it intrigues you, if it's exciting to you, if it stirs your passions or, makes your heart, pulls on your heartstrings, there's something there. And I would highly encourage you to, and I'm talking to myself too, I would highly encourage us to pursue those things with gusto, because those things will lead us to beautiful, beautiful places. And this event is just one example of that. So hopefully this inspires you to go pursue something that's exciting. And yeah, I'll check in next week. Maybe I'll share some footage from the event itself, or maybe I'll do my video next week during the event so you guys can see it. But anyway, just wanted to share that and hope it's inspirational. And I will see you guys again next week. All my love. Take care.